What's up, everybody? Welcome to the next episode of Talk Smack with Mac. I got another bad dude on the podcast, man. Randy Costa is blessing me with jumping on the podcast. UFC fighter, man. This dude is a bad dude. What's up? How you doing?
Doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I got a badass dude like you jumping on the podcast. I get to have a beautiful conversation, so I'm excited.
You got a bitch on the podcast.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm watching fights, bro. You no bitch whatsoever.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. But how did you get started in the fight game?
Dude, it was a one big fucking accident. Never had plans of being a fighter, never had dreams or aspirations of ever fighting. I've never been in a street fight, never even been close, never had a conflict with anyone, nothing. Sam, can you turn that down, please? Yeah, never even been in a street fight. I was an athlete, played sports growing up. I was forced into sports. Then I kind of slipped, fell, and got to where I am, dude. None of this was planned. This is a huge accident. I was naturally gifted at sports, I guess. I don't consider myself a fighter by any stretch of the imagination. I just like to compete and test my skills.
That's pretty cool, man. Well, it kind of seems like that most natural athletes start off with some type of martial art or boxing or something just to kind of defend themselves or something just to do in their spare time. It's a really good workout, wrestling and boxing and all those, the usual beginning, mixed martial arts that
Yeah,
people start off with. And it's kind of funny that a lot of amazing athletes become pretty good fighters.
yeah, man. I was put into karate like every other kid when they were smaller. I did probably like 2 years of it or something, traditional martial arts. And just for the discipline, and while I did learn some discipline, in it, I fucking hated it because of how boring and like how everything's kind of like theoretical. Nothing was really real. I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, but I know that that's not how you fight people. I'm not an idiot. I knew what I was there for, and then I stopped because I fucking hated it. And then, dude, oddly enough, I was looking for a contact sport in the off season of football. My buddy convinced me to try some boxing. I tried out some boxing, was pretty good at it. I got into the sparring, whatever, and then my coach like jabbed me, and I thought I was knocked out. And I really just ate like a punch at like 15%. And then I wrestled in high school. I tried out what's called American kickboxing. So if you watch my kickboxing or if you watch my fights, you notice that I'm very unorthodox, and
Yeah.
I don't throw many leg kicks at all. And with American kickboxing, it's regular kickboxing, but all kicks are above the hips. So I have these crazy head kicks and body kicks, all this stuff. Yeah, dude, it was a huge accident. I just love playing sports. I love competing. I love grinding. I love being an athlete. And I just turned out to be, okay at this fighting thing. I don't go around tough guying or flaunting that I know how to fight people, but it's cool. I fucking love what I do. It's very unique, and you never know what's next.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Back, you said you were playing football and you tried boxing in the off season. Was football your sport that you got started with, or did you play a whole bunch of different types of sports?
Dude, everything. I didn't start playing football until I was like probably 13. Prior to that, I was big time into soccer, big time into basketball. I was a three sport athlete in high school. I just loved playing sports. I was always the super athletic kid. I was always like the jock or whatever. But it was never like I was never into any conflicts. Like I said, I've never outside of a sanctioned environment, getting paid for it or performing. I've never hit anybody ever in my life. Never pushed anyone. I've never been pushed. I've never been hit. Nothing. Um, I love competing, dude. It's just fun to me.
Yeah, it's the biggest adrenaline rush I've ever had was being in the ring boxing. And I've been 120 feet underwater in the ocean. I've skydove before or went skydiving before, and being in the ring is just a different type of feeling. Or being in the octagon for your uh, point of view, it's it's a feeling that most people will never have, and it's almost scary. It's kind of scary, but it's very exciting at the same time.
Kind of scary, bro. It's the most fucked up thing in the world. It is. Anyone who tells you it's not scary is a fucking liar, dude. I'm telling you, I am shitting my pants in the back before I fight. Make no mistake. I'll be the first one to say I'm not gonna tough guy anyone. I am a pussy in the back, dude. Leading up to the fight, I'm scared, dude. But it's fucking cool. It's I feel like I have a different mindset than some of these guys. I look at a lot of positivity. I love, like, I'm embracing it. I love to, get to the point where I'm fucking scared. Like, because the light at the end of the tunnel is much lighter than the darkness that you're feeling at that point. You're scared for, such a short amount of time. But, I like to look at myself in the mirror, or go to bed at night knowing that, I didn't punk out of something. I didn't
Yeah,
say no because of a fear. Fear is just this fake bullshit. Fear is you're just afraid of an outcome, dude. I'm afraid of the outcome. There's fear there, but I'm not going to get to where I want to be unless I face that fear. And I think that's a very valuable thing, and I think that's something that I think a lot of people should do instead. I think you should be doing things that you are afraid of, and it doesn't have to be as dangerous as maybe fighting someone or skydive or anything like that. But just do face your fear. You don't
hmm
know what's on the other side of it. It's fucking insane.
definitely. Facing your fears. That's all about a. It's about growth in life. If you could face your fears and come out the other side, you're gonna grow that mindset of being able to do whatever you want because you're not afraid of the fear or you're not afraid of failing. And
Yeah,
yeah, that's one hell of a point.
yeah, man. The fear is there. The anxiety is there. But man, you know what feels worse than the fear and the anxiety? The regret of
Not
the
even
what.
trying. Yeah.
Dude, I would much rather go and get knocked the fuck out in a cage than say, oh, dude, I don't know, I'm gonna sit this one out. I'm afraid. Like, no, fuck that. I would much, dude, because how long am I gonna do this? I'm gonna have to face the man one day, and it's my time. It's my time to go. I'm gonna die. Did I take advantage of all the opportunities that I got? Did I, experience all these crazy emotions and feel like a human? Because, dude, you feel like a human when you're afraid. You feel alive. You're alive. Like, on a day to day
hmm
thing, when you feel neutral, it's you're just kind of going through the motions. You feel these things every day, but you don't feel that true, genuine fear until it's time to face that fear, and you don't know how you're going to react to it. So I think it's a very, very, valuable thing to experience true fear, to experience anxiety, and kind of see how you're going to react to it. These are all just different emotions and different routes that you experience in life, and I think that each route should be taken full advantage. Get super happy, get super mad, get super scared. All these emotions are extremely valuable, and they form character for sure.
Oh, most definitely. Because you could look back on those feelings and say, okay, I know how that felt, and that feeling is making me the person who I am today and the person that's going forward.
Yeah, and knowing how to perform, and how to maintain a level mindset, and stay neutral to your feelings while you're experiencing these stress is also super important. Not even with fighting, but on a day to day thing. You have 18 things you need to get done by 2 o'clock, and you haven't even started number one. If you know what I mean, if you let
hmm
all that stress just fucking compound you and break you, it's gonna break you. But if you've experienced how to deal with different kind of emotions in different kind of ways, then you're obviously going to be much more prepared for these things in the long run.
Yes, exactly. Now, you mentioned being scared to death before your fights. Uh, for the casual fan like myself and the majority of the people that watch MMA and UFC and all that good stuff, we kind of look at you guys as if you're robots.
Hmm.
You don't really show your emotions. You guys are hiding it in your face, have your poker face on the entire time. You're getting punched in the face, kicked in the body, calf kicks. Some people take multiple calf kicks throughout a fight, and they don't even, show it on their face at all. How do
Mhm.
you keep that emotion harnessed inside and keep your poker face on when you're facing adversity in the octagon?
Man, so I never faced adversity in any of my fights until I made it to the UFC. Until I got my first UFC fight when I fought Brandon Davis. Um, and I think that I was a unicorn. I didn't know what it would be. I got in the UFC at 4-0. I didn't have any experience. I was knocking people out in the local scene. I like tripled my cage time in that UFC fight compared to all my fights combined. I learned a lot about myself that night, and I learned that I can deal with adversity. And I think it was a really strange experience to me because I experienced adversity, but you could see the true happiness that I had just being there. I truly loved where I was at that point, and I think that, man, it's you see, if you don't truly love what you're doing, then why are you doing it? You're not going to be able to live to your full potential until you're completely happy with what's inside. And on that night, dude, and what I'm doing right now, I am so happy with what I'm doing, and it translates. You can see it exactly how I'm feeling when I'm walking out. I can't fake fucking real happiness when I'm getting fucking punched in the mouth. You know what I mean? You can truly see that I am perfectly content and happy, and I am just in a very peaceful spot in my mind that I just truly love being there. I love facing the adversity. I just love feeling alive. And for me, I feel alive when I feel the extreme of all these emotions, the extreme happiness, the extreme, fear, the extreme anxiety. It's none of the things I'm wearing on my face. It's not a poker face. I'm not acting like things don't hurt. I'm fucking telling, like, hey, that was a good shot. That was cool. Like, dude, like,
Are you saying that in the octagon? Are you saying
I'm
that to the other guy? Or are you
yeah.
just
And
saying it
even
in your
like
head?
when I'm fighting Brandon, when he rocked me for a second. I'm fucking ice skating. My legs are all fucking
Yeah.
stupid. But then I was laughing. I was like, holy, like that was a good shot. Like that was nice. Like it's not. I would much rather show like what I'm actually feeling, and making it known that I'm actually like really happy and really content, regardless of how much of a whirlwind of what's actually going on. I just love. I'm just so happy with what I do, and I love what I do.
That that's pretty fucking cool to hear, man. That I'm sure that's one hell of a life to live. Everybody wants to be a fighter till they get punched in the face, but the guys that actually do it and enjoy it, you guys are the modern day gladiators, the modern day warriors, man. It is fucking awesome to watch.
Yeah, man. Everyone wants to do the sexy stuff. Everyone wants the social media stuff and the fucking cool pictures and being in shape and having getting some sort of fame. I don't have any fucking fame, but getting some sort of fame. I might have a little bit more exposure than like the average person, but I'm nowhere near like where I'd like to be. But I love doing this for what it is. I just love competing. I love the grind. I love feeling like shit. I love feeling afraid. I love the entire roller coaster because, dude, you're not gonna have these really light days until you know what darkness is. You know what I mean? It's a really fucked up thing, but it's the highest of highs and lowest of lows.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, man. There was plenty of times in my life and specifically in my military career going through trainings when you're like, how the fuck am I going to do this? How am I going to get through this? My body is aching. I can't move. I can hardly fucking breathe.
Right.
But then, a month or two later, when you look back at those specific times, you're like, man, I got through that. And it builds it boosts your confidence and your character
Yeah.
that much every time you go through a situation like that.
Yeah, and look, and you're sitting down in a nice warm, a warm house, and you have all the things that you like, but you wouldn't have them if you fucking quit. If you just
Yes.
things aren't as bad as they seem, and I think that's a very important lesson to learn and truly grasp. But you don't get there until you experience the actual adversity and the actual highs and the actual lows. You don't know what that middle ground is. You don't know what being content is until you've felt the wide spectrum of crazy fucking emotions, which you have obviously felt as well. You have true appreciation for the things that you have right now because you felt these adversities. Just
Oh,
like with
fuck yeah.
myself, I know when I'm happy, I'm fucking happy, dude, and it's because I know what it feels like to be in a dark spot. It's there's so much potential that people are missing out on in shorting themselves because they're afraid to take a risk.
Yep. you know, being afraid of the outcome or being afraid of what others may think prohibits a lot of people from even trying.
It,
And like you're saying, and I definitely agree, fuck that. If I'm gonna fall flat on my face and the whole world knows it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna give it my best and I'm gonna give it a try.
I tried. That's it. Tried. I didn't fucking curl up. I didn't call it quits. I didn't shy away. I didn't put my tail between my legs. I fucking tried. If I failed, I failed. Let all the people talk shit. They can talk shit all they want. Did they make an attempt? Did they try? Did they, actually put something forward and actually have pride in the things? And dude, like you and I, you've experienced adversity different than I've experienced adversity, but you always have this true pride that nothing can fucking take away the things that you've actually done. No
Yes.
one can take away that I lost my UFC debut. You can't take that away. I won my second UFC fight. You can't take that away. It doesn't matter what anyone fucking says. I have this pride that in myself that I did these things that someone else didn't do. You've
Oh,
done these
yeah.
things that someone else wouldn't do, and someone honestly was afraid to do. You took this risk, you took the jump, and I think it's extremely valuable. And you learn a lot about yourself, and you can carry yourself a little bit higher, knowing that you put your best foot forward. You fucking tried.
Yeah, definitely. So before I touch on your first two UFC fights, I want to bring it back a little bit before that. So, how long? I know you said you wrestled in high school and you did karate when you were younger, you boxed a little bit. How long were you training for before you had that first amateur fight?
So we'll say I boxed a year, kickboxed for 2 years, wrestled for a year, did karate for a year. So you can say 5 years, or whatever. But I had been training at Lowe's MMA since I started. So I started training with him since I got my driver's license. So I was 16 years old. I had my amateur debut when I was 19. So I had been training full MMA for, you could say, 5 years, or yeah, 5 years, 4 years. Um, yeah, well, whatever it is. And then I had uh, a short notice opportunity to have my amateur debut. The reason why I took the short notice opportunity versus a full camp is because I was doing exactly what I've been saying not to do, which is psyching yourself out and being afraid. I was doing exactly the opposite of what I'm preaching right now.
So you're
Um,
like, fuck it, man. I got to take this jump.
it's like, dude, there's if I only have I took it on 2 weeks. If I only have 2 weeks to prepare, I can only psych myself so much, and I can only think about for a 2 week span. So if I can do it for 2 weeks and I can get to the fight, then I'm in the fucking fight. All I have to do is get through 2 weeks. Easy money. 1 week of training, 1 week of recovering and losing weight. Not a fucking big deal. I've been training hard. Not a big deal. So I did that and then took my first amateur fight. I fought April, June, and then September. And then after September, dude, I had a 4 year layoff. I fucking did exactly what I said I was doing again. Exactly the opposite of what I said been saying to do. I created every single fucking excuse under the sun. I was afraid of my own shadow in regard to fighting. Um, I was just in a different mental space. I was 19 years old.
Hmm.
I had 3 fights back to back to back. I didn't even get fucking punched, dude. I had no reason to be afraid. I was afraid. I was just afraid to be afraid. I didn't know what I was afraid of. I learned a lot about myself during that time off. I studied sports psychology. I got a degree in school, not in sports psychology, but I got a degree. Like I said, I learned a lot about myself and how to capitalize on these I guess mental insecurities. These are all valuable lessons that you have to learn, but you can only learn on the job. You can learn how to do these things outside, but you only learn how to apply those lessons, I guess, on the job to actually be scared. And it took me 4 years to do it, dude. And end up paying off. So if I didn't do that, if I didn't, I learned the hard way, dude. And honestly, it wouldn't. I carry my best friend's picture around Devin Carrier. Today's his 4 years since he passed.
Okay,
Before
that
he
was the picture you're holding up after your fight.
before he passed away, he was my best friend, dude. Before he passed away, told him I would get another fight. It's like, yeah, get another fight. I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, of course, you're gonna get another fight. We fucking know you're a bitch, whatever. I am a bitch. That's what it is. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So when he passed away, dude, I never had any intent of fighting ever again. When he passed away, I owed it to myself. I owed it to him, and I owed it as a man, to be a man of my word. I told him I was gonna get one more fight. I'm gonna get one more fight. You notice every fight that I take now, he's with me the entire way. Weigh-ins, through camp, middle of the cage, win, lose, does not matter. He is with me the entire way because honestly, if he were here, I wouldn't be fighting. I attribute the reason why I gotten back into or why I took another fight is directly because of him. Obviously, I trained harder. I worked really hard to get where I am, but I wouldn't have made that jump if it weren't for him. But again, I was forced. My back was against the wall. I had no choice but to face my fear, to be fucking scared.
Gotcha. Before anything, I sincerely apologize for your loss, man. I know how it is to lose your best friend. It's tough. It's hard. And yeah, man, just got to keep going forward, take it one day
That's
at
it,
a
man.
time. That
I
shit is tough.
appreciate that, but we don't speak sad on his name.
Yeah.
He would fucking punch me in the mouth if he ever heard me talking sad about anything like that. And I know he's happy and he's proud of where I am, and I know he's super happy with the loyalty that I've shown, and bringing him, he was a fighter too, bringing him to where his dream was, and he got shorted of it due to unfortunate circumstances. But
Yeah.
you'll never hear me get sad and all this shit
That's good
and
shit.
when I'm talking about him, because I'm telling you, he would take my fucking head off. And
You sound like he was one hell of a guy.
he was just like me, man. He was just like me.
Uplifting and
Super.
positive. I feel it, man. As soon as we got on the podcast, or I got you on the video, I felt your presence. I felt the positivity that you're giving off. So you have an aura around you, man. It's cool.
I appreciate it. That's cool to hear.
So back to your mental insecurities, man. How did you get past that, and what triggered where you're like, man, fuck this, I'm getting back in there, I'm doing this again?
Like I said, I explored all these other resources and routes, and learning about sports psychology. Reading about what other sports psychologists said, listen to podcasts, Jocko Willings, David Goggins, reading books, just
David Goggins is
learn, yeah,
fucking beast,
savage.
bro.
Dude, if you don't run through a wall after you read about him, then you have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a fucking
Yeah.
maniac. You need that. And I think he does a very good job at really projecting the way that he actually feels, and that's something I admire, and that's something that I try to do myself. But yeah, dude, I just learned about myself, and I learned that they're really, what's fear? It's just a bunch. It's a crock of shit. It's this feeling. It's this worrisome about something that that's in the future. The future is not something that you can see. It's not a tangible thing. It's just existing. So why am I going to base my life around something that's not even tangible? Why am I going to base my life around something that I can't see? It's fucking silly to me. But it took me a long time to get to that point. I had a lot. I was training like a maniac, man. I ran a couple marathons, ran a couple half marathons. I was fucking killing it in the gym. I was really good at CrossFit, really good at swimming, really good at running. I got a special operations contract in the military, and then I fucked it up about a week before I was supposed to leave for basic. I got strep. I got strep, so I was put on antibiotics, and they wouldn't let me leave because I was on antibiotics. One thing led to another. Rob Font, who's also in the UFC, was getting ready for Thomas Almeida at that time, invited me out to Las Vegas to train with him. I throw a lot of kicks. Thomas Almeida throws a lot of kicks. So I was involved in that training camp. I felt that, at that point, I couldn't go out to Vegas and just be a pussy, has been amateur fighter. I had to actually take a step. I was pushed by Font, by Calvin Cater, Joe Lozon, all these guys that I very much look up to, and I had Devin in the back of my mind. I fucking owed it to him. I can't fucking back out of it, and everything lined up to now is the time. I had to do it this time. Age is on my side. I was 21 years old or 22 years old. It's time to take that jump. Time to see what we can do. I had 4 fights back to back. I kept banging out these fights. I was knocking everyone out. Got the UFC call. Everything paid off. Everything lined up the way they're supposed to be. But dude, if I had got in the UFC when I was 19 or 20 years old, like I had intended to, like I had planned when I was doing these amateur fights, that I wouldn't have this outlook. I don't know how it would turn out. You can't speak on these things, but I know that I would not be nearly as positive, as level-headed as I am right now if I didn't experience actual fear and not facing the fear versus facing the fear and getting through it, and kind of being able to break down and analyze the actual feeling I have in my head and overcoming it. You know what I mean? It's such a strange thing, but it's things that every athlete experiences. I was 19 years old at the time, then 22 or 23 when I made my pro debut. it's 3 or 4 year layoff. Doesn't sound like that much, like 30 to 34 years old. That's not that much of a deal, but 19 to 22, that's a lot of mental age. That's a lot of mental growing you have to go
Hmm.
through. Like I said, man, I learned a lot about myself during that time, and I think it shows. You can see my demeanor when I'm fighting and when I'm talking, and how I carry myself and how I'm walking out, and you can just see that I'm truly and genuinely happy with where I am and where I'm at in this life.
Yeah, man. I feel like, especially 19 to 22, man, for people in general, but more specifically for young men, there's like so much shit is going on, so much
Yeah,
you got to learn about yourself, and like you said, your mental state is a completely different. You went through that time, and you probably had that layoff without even knowing to get mentally right, so you could come back
yeah.
with this fierce ferocity or velocity to come back and just kill everybody that you're fucking training with, going in the octagon with.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, man, and all the stars lined up to kind of get me to this point right now. You're 18 years old. I graduated when I was 17, so I'm still in college at that point. So I'm going through college, and my whole day is revolved around a bell, right? A bell is getting me from class to class. A bell's waking me up in the morning. A bell, it's everything's a fucking bell. So once you eliminate that, now you're in the real world, and that's where that growing from 19 to 22 is coming from. If you don't go to college, right? So you're going from having a bell determine and dictate your entire fucking day to now, dude, you're
It's
on your own.
all on you.
Now
Yeah.
you have to figure it out. Now you have to figure it out. So I think that's why you see such that turning point. And I think that maybe even with guys in the military that go to the military right after school, I don't think they do their true growing until they get out of the military, right? Because now they're going from
Fuck yeah.
a bell
I can
dictating
speak.
their life, a bell dictating to life, to having higher ups dictate the life, to now you are free. You are completely free, and you are dictating to the things that you want to do. No one's over your head. No one's over. So I think that those growing points are extremely beneficial and extremely important and valuable in how you maintain them, and how you actually manage these things in your life, and the importance they are to the development of your mind and how you're maturing.
Definitely, I 100% agree. One thing that I wanted to touch back on was you mentioned fear. Do you think fear has a strong connection with insecurity?
Um, I don't think I think anxiety has a strong connection with insecurity, but I'm not sure fear does, right? Because I'm afraid to fight. I'm not afraid of the other person. I'm not I'm not insecure about my being. It's just an unknown. I'm not afraid of a thing. I can't touch the thing that I'm afraid of. I'm just afraid because I don't know what's going to happen. Am I going to get knocked out? There's no insecure. I don't think there's an insecurity. I think if you're talking about anxiety and like, yeah, and maybe being anxious, maybe that's an insecurity because you don't know how you're going to react. But I think fear is just one of those things. I don't. I guess it's tough to explain. Like it's not. You can't touch the thing that you're afraid of. So there's nothing to be insecure over. You're just afraid because you don't know what it is. You don't know what's on the other side of it. And I think that is probably,
So
yeah, man,
fear and the unknown has a better connection.
yeah, yeah, dude. I don't think like the I don't think that's an insecurity because you see the topic. Even like look at like Donald Cerrone. He breaks it down fucking great. He's probably not an insecure guy at all, but he's fucking deathly afraid on fight night. And I think that it's that unknown. You're training so hard and you're working so hard to get to this point for one 15-minute fucking window where everything that you did for the last 6 weeks is coming, or 8 weeks is coming down to this one little 15-minute window. I don't think that's an insecurity. I don't think that's an insecurity driven fear. I think that's just a fear because you work so hard and you don't know, was it worth it? Is it worth it? Who the fuck knows? I don't think it's an insecurity though.
Gotcha. All right, so back to your fights. You come back after this layoff, you hop back in the octagon. How are you feeling? How's your headspace? How's your confidence? Are you at your tip top shape? How were you?
Physical shape, fuck it. I couldn't have been in better. Like I said, man, during that layoff, I was fucking killing it in the gym. I was training even harder. I ran a couple marathons, a couple half marathons. I was fucking killing it, dude. Swimming a ton, running a ton. I was just CrossFit a ton. I was just killing. I was in stupid shape, like insane shape. Um, Dude, like I just felt there. I felt in tune with myself. I wasn't afraid. I'm fucking, before in my amateur days, I'm pacing back and forth. I'm fucking pissed off now, dude. And if you see me in the back, I'm listening to reggae music and I'm fucking chilling, dude. I'm just hanging out. It's another day. I just like where I'm
Mhm.
at. I know I did everything I needed to do to get to this point. That I'm not going to make any significant gains or any gains at all in that, an hour before the fight. All the work is done, dude. Now I just need to fucking, you know,
Loosen
have,
up and
have
get
the
ready.
fruits of my labor, dude. I worked so hard to get to this point. I'm just happy to be here. The last 6 weeks, every single night, every single day, the first thing I think when I wake up is this one fucking person in front of me. Now I get to face this person. Why? There's nothing to be afraid of at this point. He's the only person I'm fucking thinking of. I'm hanging out. I'm chilling, dude. I'm in a good spot. I love where I'm at. I love fight day, dude. What I don't like as much is the couple days before the fight. That's when the actual things are kind of crashing down on you. But on fight day, everything's there. It's there. Everything you work for is right in fucking front of you. The 48 hours prior, that's kind of a shitty spot because it's so close but so far away. But when you're there, dude, it's fucking there. The only
Mhm.
thing you ever thought about the last fucking 8 weeks is standing right the fuck in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that. Well, let me ask you. You said it's right there. It's right there. So when you're fighting in the octagon and you have 20, 30, 40,000 people watching you, explain that feeling to the people that have never experienced that.
Dude, I think you have to really kind of be in tune with yourself to have. I think I think it's very subjective. I think someone else's experience may be a little bit more different than mine. My pro debut was in a bowling alley, so you can't obviously get fit a lot of people in a bowling alley, right? And then my UFC debut, just bless you, 9 months later, was at UFC 236, sold out crowd, two title fight headliners. It was a fucking banging card. And that was that was my UFC debut. So I went from nothing to a crazy fucking crowd in a 9 months time, coming off a 4-year layoff. I have no fights, no fight experience, nothing. But I can tell you this, dude, I was more comfortable walking out and being in that cage than I was at the bowling alley. And I think it's because I was just so in tune with what I'm doing. I knew what I had to do. I didn't get the job done, but I knew the job. I knew exactly what I had to do. There was no lies. You can't fucking fake anything that's going on in that fight. He's going to punch my face off. I'm going to try to punch his face off. There is no line. The crowd, it doesn't exist at that point. I'm
So it's
facing
almost
someone.
like tunnel vision.
Dude, I noticed after the fight, I noticed walking out, I'm fucking touching hands with everyone. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. But as soon as you get in the cage, dude, everything else is blank. It's blank. It's you and him. I can hear my coaches. I can't hear anything else. I'm
I
hanging
was
out.
gonna ask you. Yeah, I'm sure you can't even hear the fans when you're so focused on a goal that you, like you said, been working for 6 weeks or 8 weeks. That your tunnel vision is so focused and your demeanor is just so calm and relaxed. You
And dude,
know
I
what to
look at it,
do.
I think it's a cool like evolutionary psychology standpoint. And I'm not sure if this is right or wrong. I think it might just be a theory that I fucking have. I don't have no idea. But when I'm fighting, I can't see anything but my opponent, and I can only hear my coaches. I can't hear the punches I'm throwing. I can't hear his coach. Nothing. You know why? And I think it's because I think that the only person that I think is going to help me in that time is my coaches. So I'm looking for that safe haven. I'm looking for that security. Whereas if I'm in a fight or if I'm in a a fight to the death, where that I guess that kind of is if there was no ref. It's not really a fight to the death, but that's how it's a fight, right? It's a fight. So I'm looking for the only thing that's gonna fucking help me. The
Hmm.
third guy, the fourth guy, the only thing that's gonna fucking help me. That's the only thing that I can hear. And I think it's because that's my anchor. That's my safety haven. It's the craziest fucking thing in the world. I can't see anything else but my opponent. But the only thing I can fucking hear is my coaches. It's the wildest thing. It's so cool. I feel like a heroin junkie, dude. I just can't get enough of it. I love it, dude. It's so cool.
All right, so going to that first fight, bro, I thought you had it. So
I
you go
thought
in
so.
there and you rocked his ass.
Yeah.
Like in the first, like what, 15, 20 seconds, his knee bucked, and I was like, oh shit, this
He
dude is
was
knocked
so
out.
tough.
Fuck yeah, man.
I've never been more emasculated. I felt like a female when I was hitting him. I was like, dude, can you just fucking go down?
And then, well, before I move on to the next part, do you think he was able to take those hits? Well, first of all, he had one hell of a chin, but because he made that weight cut and dropped down to your weight class, he was just used to bigger guys, or he was
No,
just
dude. I
a
mean,
tough son of a bitch.
if you watch any of his fights, Brandon he's extremely tough and extremely durable. He rolls with punches so well. Even when I was connecting straight, I buckled him a couple times, but none of them were directly on the chin. One of them was behind, or two of them were behind the ear. He just does so well at taking the damage, seeing the punches, and kind of rolling with the punches, and literally rolling
Exactly.
with the punches.
Yeah.
He's just super super durable. I think if any other guys on those roster, I think, or not even any other person that I fight and in my weight class, I think that I can knock them out. I can hit for a big guy or for a small guy. And Brandon was saying that I hit the hardest out of anyone he's fought, and that's really cool to fucking hear, considering his fight prior was Zabit.
Yeah.
But man, he's just super super tough, and he's known for that. I think I was the only person in the UFC, or his only UFC fight, that he got rocked on multiple occasions. He's just a super super tough and durable guy. It's just he has a granite chin. It's insane.
Yeah. Going from I believe Joe Rogan or DC, one of those guys mentioned for him going from fighting somebody that's pretty
Yeah.
highly ranked and then a lot of experience fighting, going from there and then fighting your fucking UFC debut.
Yep.
He has that experience and that, I know I've been in this situation before, versus you're like, dude, I, like you said, I went from a bowling alley to fucking a sold out crowd. So man, people don't look at that, those factors. That shit plays a big part,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Look at like he was fighting all these high level guys. Fight prior, I was fighting on the local scene. Dude, I didn't even been punched in a fight until my UFC debut. I'd never been fucking punched in any amateur or pro. I'd never been fucking punched. It was insane. But I think that you can notice like the experience difference with Brandon and I, when I heard him pretty fucking good, and then I rushed in like a maniac, and that's
Mhm.
what an experienced guy does exactly what he did. We just kind of covered and kind of rolled with everything, and then try to catch, instead of going like overzealous and turn into a maniac, which is exactly what I did. I think my inexperience lost me the fight. Brandon did fucking everything right, and I
Mhm.
didn't. He won. That's how you win a fucking fight. He overcame how to get him punched, and he knows how to deal with these when things get kind of blurry. He did such a fucking fantastic job with dealing with the adversity, and then I did a really bad job with kind of capitalizing on when I was putting him in the situation where he had to deal with adversity. I just turned into a maniac, and that's not how you do it at all. Um,
Yeah.
but I learned on the job.
Yep, definitely. After that fight, you didn't get the victory. Where were your emotions? How did you feel, and how did you work from that point?
Give yourself 24 hours. Feel bad for yourself. Get up, dust yourself off. Stop feeling like a bitch. Can't sit back. Can't feel bad for yourself. I'm not gonna sit on the sidelines. I'm not gonna feel bad for myself. I'm not gonna call it quits because I lost a fist fight. My life is fucking fantastic. I lost one small point in my life. It's not a big deal. I took that. I think that I showed a lot in that fight. I
Oh,
think that
hell yeah.
I think that my stock grew, even though coming off a loss. I think I showed that fuck what the naysayers have to say. I showed that I belong. I only had 4 fights, prior to that point. I showed that I can hang with these high level guys. I think my stock grew, and then I let that fuel me. I didn't sit back. Oh fuck! I lost my first fight, which I think a lot of guys in the position that I was in would have done that when they only have 4 fights and they were fucking killing everyone, and then they lose the most important fight. I think that a lot of guys would kind of fold up or be a little bit timid. I gave myself 24 hours. It is what it is. I felt bad, and then I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not gonna feel bad anymore. I have to get up, dust myself off. We're gonna go on to the next one." Texting, my management, texting my coaches, "Hey, be in the UFC this year. Let's get me back in fucking right away. Let's go. Like I'm ready now. I know what I have to do. I know I learned my lesson. I need to get back to work. Got back to work, and then came back and got another win. But it really depends on how I took that. That 48 hours after the fight. If I let that sink and I fucking drank my sorrows away and started feeling bad for myself and playing the blame game and doing all these other stupid things that don't make any sense, then my road would be a lot different. I wouldn't be in this point. But I did what I should have done, and I did what any you know positive person and any athlete should be doing is getting up, dusting yourself off, and moving on to the next one. You can't feel bad for yourself in this sport. It's a very unforgiving sport. This is life. It's not, you can't fucking just have things handed to you. You have to deal with things at some point. I dealt with it. I dealt with it like a fucking man. Got up, dust myself off, came back in the fashion that I feel I showed that I deserve.
Yeah, definitely. You obviously took that loss like a fucking champ, man, and like you said, you proved a lot and your stock grew, and I'm sure that experience helps you reach another level. And then you came back and you fought Boston in your second fight, and that was, bro, you fucking put on a show.
Yeah, man, and you could see that all the work, that the improvements that I made in that fight. I had him hurt. I relaxed,
Your
hurt him again.
composure, yeah, your
You know what I mean?
composure, yeah.
I did the things that I should have done, and I learned from my mistakes. Again, if I had felt bad for myself and fucking started pointing fingers and blaming people, dude, like I wouldn't have be in this point where I am right now. I wouldn't have gotten over that. I dealt with it like a fucking man. Didn't feel bad for myself. Didn't point fingers. Didn't fucking tell my coaches that they fucking had a shitty game plan and that they didn't do this, that, the other thing. I said, dude, you guys did everything you need to do. I'm the one that fucked up. I'm gonna dust myself off, and we're gonna go on to the next one. That's exactly what we did.
Okay, so you're coming off a win in the UFC, and it was in brilliant fashion. You just tore the dude up.
It was a
Matter
good.
of fact, I just watched that fight maybe about an hour ago, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. So you're coming off a win in the UFC. You're showing everybody, hey man, I'm here. I'm here to stay. I got some skills. I can hang with some top guys. What's next? What's next for you?
Dude. It's like I went out in Boston. I fought a guy named Boston, and he had a ton of hype coming off Contender Series. His credentials fucking blow mine out of the water. National champ boxer, multiple time state champ high school wrestler. He was just a savage of a fighter. Um, the chips were stacked against me. I wasn't supposed to win that fight. There was no reason I had to win that fight. I was 4-0. I lost. I got choked out in my debut, and I'm gonna go face a fucking killer like him. I'm not supposed to win that fight. All right, sick. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna train hard. I'm gonna win that fight, and that's what I did. And I showed that my mental maturity is probably beyond what my age is. And I'm a realist. I know the things that I need to do, and I need to fucking do them. I need to execute them, and I executed them when I needed to. I listened to the things that my coaches had to say. I took all the things in that my coach was saying and listened to the people around me, and told the negative people to fuck off, and I don't really give a fuck about what they say. And I took all the positive things, and I turned it into a fucking fantastic night.
Damn straight. Do you have another fight planned, or are you in
Yes.
negotiations?
September 26th, I'm fighting
September 26th. Let me write that down.
7 weeks from Saturday.
And do you know who you're fighting yet?
Yep, his name is Journey Newsom.
Okay. Well, shit, I'm excited, man. I
And I
can't wait to
too.
see you get back in the octagon. It's been September 26th, so that's almost like 11 months or so for you
Dude.
since you've been in there, right?
Yeah, dude, I was supposed to fight on March 28th, and that got canceled because of COVID. It's been too fucking long. I did a fight camp from January to fucking March to have it canceled 10 days prior. Now I'm back in camp. I'm hungry. I'm ready. You could see that the amount of improvements from physical and mental from April to October. Never mind what October, September is going to show. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to show. I'm going to show a very, very different Randy Costa. It's going to be very improved. It's going to be cool to watch, man. I'm excited.
I'm a huge fan, man. I can't wait. Well, before I get you off the pod, you said you used to play sports. Do you have any favorite sports teams out there? It doesn't matter what sport it is. What are your faves?
I mean, I'm a Boston guy. I root for the hometown guys for sure. I'm not crazy indulged in like basketball or anything like that. I love watching hockey. I love myself a good football game. I'm not really a sports fanatic though, man. I love playing. I don't love watching. I don't watch much TV. I don't watch movies. I like working out. I'm kind of a simple guy. I'm boring as fuck, and I like to work out.
Hey, you know what, man? Every MMA guy that I've gotten on my podcast so far, you guys all have the same thing in common. I'll play the sports, but I don't want to fucking watch it. I want to
Yeah,
do it.
yeah. I like watching fights though. I like following. I follow pretty close. I'd like to be like an analyst at some point. I think I'm pretty cut out for it.
Hey, you're like I said, your aura and the way you speak. I think you would do great behind the mic. That's one thing I'm trying to get myself to. I'm trying to get up there to that level. I think it would be pretty damn cool too.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right, man. Well, that does it for another episode of Talk Smack with Mac. Randy, I really appreciate you getting on the podcast, man. You got another fight coming up next month, about a month and 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So you must have just started your training camp. I'm excited to watch you. You
Appreciate it, man.
out of you're 5-1, right?
5-1.
5-1 out of your 5 fights. I believe all 5 of knockouts in the first round. I think you had like a ref stoppage in the second round or something like that. So you're laying people out. You're putting your name on the scene. UFC guys better fucking watch out because Randy Costa is coming to whoop some ass, take some names, and claim a belt in the near future.
We're coming.
Let's go, man. I appreciate it. Peace.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Her hand needs 6 degrees, her mind on my PhD. I eat it in the morning, call that breakfast. And Tiffany, she sang. I make her hit them high, notes on MP3. She ain't shine no more, and now we making them DVDs. Word vomit, here come them lies again. I guess it's that time of year to cut the ties again. She all up in my phone like she working for Verizon. She know I treat these hoes like I treat the finish line. Precipitate the panties to the float, just a waste of time. She do about the same for a client like she would a Vine. Sleeping on a nigga, catching Z's, narcoleptic. Niggas up in Paris on my beating on my chest. Shit, these hoes ain't loyal. Got me missing my ex-chick back when I was stunting on my exes. Oh no, I'm living in the past again. I know you just told me your name, but I'ma ask again. Like I don't know about you.
I know all about you, acting all innocent.